I asked God for knowledge. I rose up early in the morning. I worshiped the Lord. A son was born because I have asked of the Lord. What is knowledge? To comprehend the workings of a given system. I asked God for knowledge. Help me. Help me understand the workings of life. The Lord always establishes his word. I rejoice in salvation. There is no rock like our God. Talk exceedingly humble. Let peace come out of your mouth. For the Lord is God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. The Lord maketh alive and bringeth up. The Lord maketh rich, and the Lord lifteth up. The Lord keep the feet of the saints. By force of strength shall no man prevail. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth. The Lord shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. Samuel, chapter 2, verse 6 through 10. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raises up the poor out of the dust and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. Amen. Give unto me wisdom. Sing. Hear. Give an ear, both small and great, all rich and poor. Let your words be wise, that thou tongue delights in comprehending. Meditate with your heart. My ears shall hear the story. I have hope in the good days. I see the blessings of thy goings. My trust is in God, the creator of all. The ransom paid through Christ. God is my redeemer. Redemption is forever and ever. The life of a tree that brings fruit eternally. The upright shall dwell with dominion. God receive me. Man that honor God and comprehends the knowledge of the heaven shall have life and live forever. Psalms 49. Hear this, all ye people. Give ear, all ye inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth shall speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall be of understanding. I will incline my ear to a parable. I will open my dark saying upon the harp. Wherefore should I fear in the days of evil, when the iniquity of my heel shall compass me about? They that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches, none of them can by any means redeem his brother. nor give to God a ransom for him. For the redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceaseth forever. That he should still live forever and not see corruption. For he seeth that wise man die. Likewise, the fool and the brutish person perish, and leave their wealth to others. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beasts that perish. This their way is their folly, yet their prosperity approved their saying, Salah. Like sheep, they are laid in the grave. Death shall feed on them, and the upright shall have dominion over them in the morning. And their beauty shall consume in the grave from their dwelling. But God will redeem my soul from the power of the grave, for he shall receive me. Salah. Be not thou afraid when one is made rich, when the glory of his house is increased. For when he dieth, he shall carry nothing away. His glory shall not descend after him. Though while he lived, he blessed his soul, and men will praise thee, when thou doest well to thyself. He shall go to generation of his fathers, they shall never see light. Man that is in honor and understandeth not is like the beasts that perish. Amen. I ask God for power. Yeah.
Yeah, they got it bumping.
Why by the lie when the truth is free? Illusions create think, distorted reality, manifesting heart's desires, faith that anything is possible, probable. With God, I'm unstoppable. Can't deny denial. Life flowing through, living is a test of subscription, a lifetime trial. Only faith, no fanatics. Pay attention to the antics. Peace over power, panic. Design, planned in fashion.
Gado Yeshayahu. Hallelujah. Talk to Robert Yeshua. Click, sack, ding. All praises, all honor, all glory to the Most High. Yah.
I'm so inspired.
Right.
Yeah, I'm so inspired. The thoughts that inquire, the blessings I acquire, translations, transpiring desire, divinely attire. What you acquire, see what you sow is what you reap. These preachers, what do they teach? Seek solutions, therapy. Pray to the Most High to guide me. Give unto me clarity.
What it do?
I have faith now. I can see. Praising y'all on my journey. The land of milk and honey. Here goes my testimony.
On this side of YouTube.
I
We bring
rose,
content
I
to
grew
inspire,
through the concrete.
to encourage,
Nothing
and
can
to motivate
stop
the
me.
next to be great.
Triumphant is my belief.
It's been a minute since I've been on here, family. So I appreciate everybody who's been tuning in lately, man. Catching me on the back scenes, being able to hit me up, and keeping myself inspired. As y'all can see by the title of this video, y'all know what's going on, man. Freedom of what? More like detainment. Speak up for what you believe. We're living in a society where
People are silenced. People are walking around with masks on, literally afraid to speak up their minds. How beneficial is that? How cultivating an environment for everyone to grow, or what would that show us? How can you inspire somebody if you lack the confidence to be able to speak your mind? What are they inspiring people to do? What is being communicated? When you take away someone's voice, what are you really doing? When you take away somebody's testimony of living, someone's experience, who's gonna tell their story? You know? NP Truth Ministries, I see you in the building. Shalom, shalom, sis. Terrific Tarsha. What it do? What it do? Y'all already know we gonna be in here, man. We're gonna be in here. I got some sources. I got some things I want to be able to speak about. Hopefully, I'm free to do so. You know, hopefully those amendments that they put in the Constitution allow me to be able to speak my mind without any hindrances. But hey, that's what we're here for. We're here to communicate. We're here to build. We're here to grow. And just to be able to show throughout this world, there are things that are going wrong. Who's going to be man enough? Who's going to be woman enough? Who's going to have the spirit to be able to speak about these problems? Not just speak about them, but actually bring forth solutions for them. Yeah, it goes one thing when all we do is talk and argue back and forth, but to be able to have some type of speech conversation where we come up with solutions and say, hold on, here's a problem, but this is how we can fix it. But if everybody's being silent, how are we going to fix the problems? So if y'all haven't already, go ahead and like the screen. Go ahead and share the screen, man. Hey, we going to be hitting there, opening up conversations for brothers and sisters who are like-minded, because I just want y'all to know there's no detainment on speaking over here. No one controls my channel on what I should say and what I should do and how I operate but the Most High. So being able to be a vessel used for something righteously, you got to be able to have that confidence to boldly speak up for what you see. But y'all already know, family. We like to vibe before we get into it, man. We like to go ahead and make sure we get comfortable in the building. You feel me? I see Josh Son of Yah in the building. Salute, salute. Hey, Drew Mills in the building. Shalom, shalom, family. So I got some tunes, man. Sit back, relax. I already know topics like this can be a little uneasy, so I just want to vibe with y'all before we even step right into it, man. Yeah, I know. Fly BX by yours truly. You feel me? Apply my behavior to progress, preparation, flawless for a proper performance, prevention, precaution. See, I don't need a prescription.
Intuition mixed with spiritual gift and miraculous healings
This is in the description.
Depicting deception, silenced in society. Drugs promoted, but they preach sobriety.
Master disguise what they teach. It was written, striving in the spirit, ain't no quitting. In the back of the bus, they want us sitting with masks on now.
I'm here for the spiritual veil uplifting. The world is a stage, we in a new age. Next chapter, new page. I'm reading off scriptures, I'm painting these pictures.
Got faith in the fabrics, make praying a habit. Beware the tactics.
These days don't be lacking. Watch out, fiery darts from the dragon. Be sure that the sword that I'm wielding with a victor nor willing. So what you reap, the land I'm tiller. Gonna lead the senseless killing. Suffocation of a nation. Who's complacent? Wicked placement. Regulation of temptation. We free? Live demise demonstrations.
Are we free?
Lamentations on recording. Operations of fear hoarding. Mental health of the disorders.
Yeah.
Apply my behavior to progress,
Preparation flawless for proper performance, prevention, precautions. See, I don't need a prescription.
Intuition mixed with spiritual gift and miraculous healings is in the description. Yeah.
Apply my behavior to progress, preparation flawless for proper performance, prevention, precautions. See, I don't need a prescription. Got intuition mixed with spiritual gift and miraculous healings is in the description. Did you read them? And as we talk about the freedom of speech or the lack thereof, the detainment of speech, know that everything that is happening has been written. And when you look at certain mandates, rules and regulations, amendments and commandments, you say, what's really going on? What's really the context behind how this community is portraying itself? Now you have a certain group of people who ultimately get offended when others speak up, when others say, hey, there's a problem. Do you know that the power of communication, it helps us identify things that are going on in our life? It helps us effectively convey what's going on in our mind. It helps us build trust. And that trust ultimately helps certain people gain influence. As people trust what you speak about, you ultimately influence how they operate in the world. We're living in a time, space, era where the trust of people have dramatically shifted. And when you really sit back and think about who is the most influential, who is the most powerful person, think about a person who can speak and things occur. I'm not talking about a person who has all the money, who can give somebody money and then they do things. No. What about that person who uses their voice to command other individuals to do things, to influence other people to behave in a certain way? So when you really think about the freedom of speech or the lack thereof, think about people actually losing power. Think about people actually losing the ability to have influence over how they behave. Because if you're not able to speak on certain subjects, no matter how taboo, no matter how controversial they are, in return, you lose power over it. To be able to speak on a subject or a matter and be able to bring your thoughts to a healthy environment to be able to see what's going on, it not only helps you grow, but the people around you, because you may be able to speak on something that not everyone sees from your wisdom, from your intellect, from your sight of experience. So when you halter someone's voice, you ultimately lose some sense of power. But I get it. Some people, when they speak, foolishness or just maliciousness or hate speech, stuff like that, you don't want to condemn that. You don't want to say, hey, we should let them speak because it's freedom of speech. Okay, let them speak. And see what follows their speech. See how they behave after that. And so, family, I really hope that at the end of the day, I use this platform to be able to bring brothers and sisters together who can communicate, who can see what's going on, who can effectively express themselves, because in an environment where you are literally being detained, and not just by physical chains, but by intellectual, mental restrictions, how are you expected to grow? How are you expected to even know yourself when you can't even speak on who you are? That's why I feel like it's pivotal that people that do have the ability to elaborate and express themselves in a fluid manner, we go out and do it. Because as we look on the other side, there's no detainment of speech when it comes to them viewing the characteristics of people who may not be righteous living. How come their speech isn't detained? But you got people that look like me, skin tone, where we speak about problems that we see in this society, in this community, and they're quick to take away things. They're quick to try to detain. They're quick to try to scrape away our influence. Why is that? I thought we were living in the land of the free. I thought, hold on, in the Constitution, I thought one of the first amendments was the freedom of speech. Oh, we're gonna get that, family. We're gonna get that. But like I said, these times that we're living in, it really takes a bold individual, a spirit-filled individual, to do what people are necessarily afraid of doing, which is speaking their mind. No one wants to be criticized. No one wants to be put on blast. No one wants to feel as though they're being attacked verbally. And as a man in this world, and more specifically a man of color, all we do is go through verbal abuse. All we do is go through not even verbal abuse, and on the wide variety of mental abuse, emotional abuse. We go through it all. And to say we just got to take it without saying a thing. Why is that? But then other people who identify as other mindsets and characteristics can speak about having rights, can speak about not being treated a certain way, can write books and create movies about their lifestyle and get support from community. Why is that? But then when you have someone that looks like me, we're automatically detained. When it comes to fully expressing how we see this world, it's like fear is operating in people to not want to hear us speak about our experience. But when it comes to other demographics, they definitely have full range of motion to speak whatever, to create whatever, to promote whatever. And as we've seen the onslaught of, how can I say, deterrent of self-expression these last couple of years, as mandates rolled around, as certain individuals within the medical environment were getting on TV speaking about a problem, there was definitely detainment of speech going around, where in all types of facets, media, journalism, and even art. You had music, entertainment being attacked because of their views on what they spoke about. The power of communication for us to be able to expressively say, hey, there's something going on. When you take that away, you ultimately take away the ability to be able to come up with solutions. Right now, we're living in a world that has no solutions for anything because we're afraid to speak on the problem. Let's be real. When you take away freedom of speech and when you try to use verbal diarrhea to excuse the experience of someone who is going through something and being able to bring out truthhood behind the matter, you ultimately strip them or try to strip them of their power. Do you know how many people are out here just powerless because they don't even know how to speak up for themselves? They just do whatever anyone tells them to do without even being able to say, hey, this is something that I just don't want. I don't want to do this. And then being able to take a step further and tell people why I don't want to do it. Why is that a crime? Why is that something that should be as though we should stop? I get it now. Speaking your mind, if it's contrary to the popular opinion, is a crime. So I just wanted to bring up a few sources. Want to be able to communicate on this topic, family. And this is a big one for me because as I look out in the world, and it's not too many of us that have platforms that we actually speak about something and the site of trying to find solutions. Many people use their platforms to communicate, but it's only pertain to, how can I say, gaslighting problems. When we use the power to communicate, it should be to identify problems, figure out solutions, and then implementing those solutions. As you guys can see here, and I just did a little research on the topic of freedom of speech as we are currently communicating about. And as stated in the First and 14th Amendments to the Constitution of the U.S., we should have the freedom to express information or ideas or opinions free of government restrictions based on content. As y'all already can see, in this world, in this day and age, you can't really speak on what you want to, especially if it pertains to a certain health concern. If your ideas of a health concern is different from these so-called educated doctors and you're spreading information that is contrary to popular belief, then oh yeah, your speech will definitely be detained. But I thought these were a part of the amendments. I thought this was a part of the Constitution. I thought people actually sat down at a table and wrote this out and was like, hey, we're talking back and forth and we're going to communicate on how to bring a society together in unity and peace and making sure that we always have the blessings to progress. It's a healthy thing to express yourself. Even if what you're saying isn't, I don't know, morally accepted. Express yourself. As we see in this day and age where people can speak their mind on their platforms and it can be the most foolish thing ever, but yeah, there's a target market for that. You have people who benefit in the world off of spreading foolishness, i.e., some forms of rap music. The freedom to be able to express yourself and communicate within some of these songs. A highly lucrative career to say that people can get on a microphone and share their ideas, speak about the context of what they do in their hood, speak about actually going out and selling drugs, express information on what it is to be a drug lord, in that speech to be supported, uphold, and actually continue to grow within certain communities. Is there an agenda when you have certain ideas that are being more promoted and popularized? And when we use our platforms to speak, certain people are put in the back depending on what they say. If their ideas are not aligned with what is popular going out in this day and age in society, and y'all already know what's popular, man. If I was up here showing y'all some unrighteous content, oh, how quickly my platform would grow, how quickly my speech would be promoted. Why is it that when you have brothers and sisters alike who bring forth information, who bring forth self-expression, who bring forth experience and solutions to certain problems, why are they detained? And not physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. We can see this pattern, this system of ideas being portrayed within our very environment. And who's going to be able to step up and say, hey, we need to let these people speak because we're letting the other side speak as well. We need to make sure that we're letting righteous people be heard throughout the world as well. Everybody already heard Adolf Hitler speak throughout the world. Everybody already seen the way that his speech was able to influence the behaviors and minds of individuals past his years. Why is that highly promoted? Why is that speech not being detained? Why are certain ideologies are still out there that pertain to him? But family, we here to be able to exercise so that we can grow in strength with our voice, with our power. Because at the end of the day, when we speak, we do have power. Not just a man with physical might, but your voice is how you retain your power. What comes out of your mouth, what you praise, what you give attention to, what you communicate about. That's your power. Don't let anyone detain your power. Y'all already know on this channel, I gotta go ahead and share some scriptures with y'all just so we can hit this on point. When they try to detain how we speak towards one another, know that we're not a prisoner anymore. I'm in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of God, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake has forgiven you. Will we even need amendments if people read that? If people were into the commandments? So when we talk about freedom of speech, yeah, I guess everybody has the tools necessary to be able to make their own decisions. But what decisions are being promoted? What decisions are being made where it is deemed acceptable to be promoted and worthy of advertisements out here? So I wanted to bring a video clip up. My source is Big Think from YouTube, and I just wanted to
is the very definition of a thought crime. Do we really want
back and forth communication.
to go down that road? I mean,
What they're saying in this.
Want to join the six-figure club? Google and other tech companies are hiring hundreds of thousands of workers in.
Here we go.
That's what countries like North Korea do. That's what like the Soviet Union did under Stalin. Arrest people for thought crimes. This is a terrible.
Arresting people for thought crimes, detaining people for what they think and speak, stripping people of financial resources because not what they do, but what comes out of their mouth. If that's the case, let's talk about 40, 50 years ago, what was coming out of people's mouth. If that's the case, let's even go back further. 400 years ago. And if we're going to detain anybody, who should it be?
Way to go. And I even went so far as to write a letter to the judge in that case on behalf of David Irving, even though I completely disagree with him, because I just find this abhorrent.
People will often say to me, as somebody who is Jewish and the daughter of a Holocaust survivor who barely survived the Buchenwald concentration camp, how can I, of all people, defend the Nazis? And I always say, I'm not defending the Nazis. I'm defending freedom of speech as an inviolable, indivisible principle that is only going to remain strong if we continue to respect that bedrock.
Let people speak. And not saying that anybody is wrong or right, but let action show which course of behavior is going to stand throughout time. They always tell you sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I beg to differ. As we living in a world now where thoughts literally be hurting people. You get on a computer and you type a tweet. You can hurt a community of people. You get on your computer, you get on your phone, and you share a picture that can hurt people. So think about the power that you have when you speak. Think about the power that you have when you think. And they're trying to detain this. They're trying to say it's a crime if you think this way. Hold on, if you're spreading this information, if you're spreading this idea, if you're trying to express yourself like that, but not everybody has the perfect world where they can express themselves and live kumbaya, where everything in their society or in their community is being taken care of. Not everybody has that perfect picture world where when they speak, it's nothing but blessings coming out of their mouth. And I get it. I get what this lady is saying right here. How can you speak about the Nazis and not want to detain them, even though you were in a family that hands first, you dealt with the Holocaust? Well, if I do that, then I'm stripping away the right to speak for everyone. And at some civil course, humanity should be able to sit down with one another, talk, communicate effectively, where words are exchanged without actions of detriment being involved, because you can come to an understanding through communication to be able to figure out solutions. We have a bunch of people at head administrations literally not being able to communicate effectively back and forth, where they can't come up with solutions other than causing some detriment to a person, other than forcing or coercing or manipulating people to be able to say, well, I can't really get with your idea or your understanding, so yeah, we're gonna have to delete you. We're gonna have to take some financial gain away from you. We're gonna have to ruin your character.
Viewpoint neutrality principle, denying government the power to suppress an idea merely because in one community that idea is deemed to be unpopular or hateful or hated. Because
When we talk about what's popular, the idea, the speech or the communication that stems from people that look like myself. You want to know what's unpopular? For us to talk about getting together and starting a community of our own. You want to know what's popular? For us to actually tear each other down. You can see that in the algorithm on the YouTube. You can see that on which videos get the most likes. You can see that on which videos or ideas are accepted and communicated throughout an environment that holds minorities. When there is ever a tearing down or a complete devastating moment in which there's no solutions and people are only talking about a problem, this is the only speech that is being promoted. But then when you have people who are intellectual, who ultimately decide their own course of action and how they're going to influence the world, influence their community, and how they behave, there seems to be some censorship going on. But when it comes to these ideas or what's popular and the artwork or expression of viewing people that look like myself and like other minorities, eh, the negative aspects are somehow always on the forefront. Why doesn't the government try to ban that?
I know that in many communities in this country, ideas that I cherish as a civil libertarian, as a human rights champion, those ideas are seen as dangerous and are subject to censorship. So I'm not defending the Nazis.
Ain't nothing being censored no more as we look at social media platforms, as we look at what's going out on the World Wide Web. There is no censorship of ideas, no censorship of thoughts and beliefs, as everything is being carteled out for the judgment of a nation of people that ultimately have been dumbed down on what's righteous and moral to be able to discern what will evolve the mindsets of our people to actually live in some type of peace, unity, and to keep on growing. We're living in a society in this day and age where the only people who are being detained of speaking are the people who actually come up with solutions that make sense. And I'm gonna keep it real, the ones that create confusion and the ones that ultimately have no type of intellectual insight or wisdom are the ones that are put into these higher end speaking influential positions. So when we talk about freedom of speech right now, the only people who are free to speak their mind are, can I express my mind to y'all, family? Can I be real with my thoughts right now? Can I be real with my ideas right now? The only people who are free to speak right now are freaking idiots. Are people who have no common sense whatsoever. Those are the only people who have this resource to be able to speak their mind on what's going on out here in the world. And as I'm seeing the shift of just power, the shift of business, the shift of overall connection, it's like everything is being dumbed down and no one's actually speaking about what it truly means for us to come together, have righteous thoughts, to effectively express ourselves. And this is where it really becomes a conundrum to me, because you have a society of people who got together and made a constitution, and the very word amendment means to make changes, make minor changes. They keep on making changes over time. I was told if it wasn't broke, why are you trying to fix it? Obviously, the Constitution is broke. They keep on trying to fix it. You tell people that they have the freedom to speak, and then over time, you keep on changing that. What do you think that does to the trust of the people following this Constitution?
Defending a principle that is especially important for those of us who want to have the freedom to raise our voices to protest the Nazis and everything.
There's no more protests going on because people are standing around like mindless zombie slaves, just going along and being influenced to behave in a way where they can't even question, because if they do, they'll be taken away from their comfort of their home. They'll be taken away from the comfort of their resources to be able to provide for their family. They'll be taken away from the comfort of being in the society and being viewed as a respectable person, because you can use media and propaganda to portray someone as an evil villain just by the way that they think. Or you can use a picture. If someone posts a picture, you can tell the people out there in the world, hey, this is what that person posted, and so we should criminalize the way that they operate in the society. And And every time that they do something, we shouldn't support it. But then you have people who actually have actions behind what they do and are still being supported. You have people who fund billions of dollars to drug cartels and are still supported. You have governmental bodies, i.e., the president of the United States, that just wrote a bill a couple of months ago saying, hey, I want to make sure that doing drugs is safe. So we're going to get some clean needles out there. You mean to tell me that speech was not detained? You mean to tell me some Kyrie Irving posting a picture about Hebrews to Negroes is more detrimental to the president of one of the most powerful countries in the world saying that, and not just saying, but also writing and implementing a bill to go towards safety drug use? It just doesn't make sense to me. And so that's why I'm thankful that I can use my platform to express myself. I'm thankful that I don't have anyone behind me pulling the strings on what I communicate. You know, all praises to the Most High that you got brothers and sisters that are alike and who use their platforms to be able to speak on certain things like this, to be able to inspire conversations like this. Because let's be real, not many people are open to communicate because it rattles them. It contradicts their processes. Not many people are able to understand what is moral. Discernment is gone. When people speak, you should be able to know who they are, how they operate, how they behave. We're in a world right now where you can have a rapper talk about killing people, selling drugs, you know, not treating women right. That communication is preferred. That so-called rapper or entertainer is promoted, and then it's like people expect something different from them. No, family. They're telling you exactly who they are, and people accept that speech and communication. But when you have righteous brothers and righteous sisters telling you exactly who they are, expressing what they do, being able to give solutions to problems, not only just talk about problems. So this is what we have right here in the world. You have a lot of people that talk about problems, but you have very few that actually speak on how to bring about solutions to these problems. And if there's anything that need to be detained, it's the people that speak about the problems without having solutions, because then it's like, what's your purpose? Are you just here to pour gas on the fire? Are you just here to excite people and emotionally get them riled up without having the wisdom to guide people in the right way to say, we can come up with solutions to gear the next generation to not go through these problems? But when you detain certain people who speak about solutions in societies, you ultimately lose power on what's going to be the most influential part of what comes next in the nation.
Thing they stand for.
What's happening on a lot of university campuses is the notion you come with your pre-existing beliefs about your identity, about the world, and no one's supposed to question that. And I think that's very problematic. You know, for example, people say, well, we don't want right-wing people on campus. I do. I want everybody on campus. I want everybody having the same educational opportunities, and I want the opportunity to actually have real conversations about different points of view.
Let's have real conversations about different points of view and figure out which one is right and which one is wrong. Let's have conversations where we sit down with a person who ultimately is a drug dealer or ultimately is a psychiatric patient who may have had murdered somebody, and yeah, their idea is not accepted mainstream. But let's have these conversations so that we can bring forth solutions so that people won't be able to fall down those same gateways or paths of behaviors that they chose. Because who wants to be that person? Unless these people are popularized, unless these people are put on a pedestal, unless these people are actually somewhat influential where they have some power over society and how others behave. Then you can see where the next generation falls into a snare saying, hey, this has to be right because people accept it. People promote it. They actually live a better life because they're able to express themselves. You see, if I was talking about something righteously, or if I was talking about doing something that, solves problems out here in the world, it'd be harder to be successful. But if I'm doing something that's wrong, if I'm speaking about something where it's popular and it's about hopping on a trend, then I'll be accepted. So as right now in society, we're in a place where detainment of speech only occurs when the idea or the communication that's being brought forth isn't what's trending. It isn't the time and space and place to communicate on Jewish people right now. It's not trending to be against those people right now. But in a healthy environment where you have people expressing what they believe and what they go through in their experience, to have a table where we can communicate and highlight certain things, to be able to come up with intellectual properties to establish the goings of the next, to not undergo certain conditions. Why is it a bad thing that this view, this idea, that picture is shared? If other things can be shared and not be detained, why is it that people who communicate about their experience halted? I got some more scripts too. And it's like, it's just something in the admittments that just keep on changing up that I just can't trust, man. But knowing that I could put all my trust in the Most High and keep on walking forward in this life to spread some type of light, I'm thankful. So I'm in 1 Peter chapter 2. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and all hypocrisies and all envies and all evil speakings, as newborn babies desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. If so be ye have tested that the Lord is gracious, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of man, but chosen of God and precious. See, when we speak, sometimes men, they're not going to accept what we do. But to say that we are chosen of the Most High, it's precious. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 5. Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, a holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God by Jesus Christ. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, Behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Unto you, therefore, which believe, he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which builders disallow, the same is made the head of the corner, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should shew forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of God, which had obtained the mercy, but now have obtained mercy. Dearly beloved, I beseech you, as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts, which war against the soul, having your conversation honest amongst the Gentiles, that whereas they speak against you as evildoers, they may be your good works, which they shall behold. Glorify God in the day of visitation. Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme, or unto governors as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers and for the praise of them that do well. For so is the will of God, that with well doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. And if y'all take away anything from this stream, let it be that. Let it be 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 15. For so is the will of God, that with well doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. And not even having to do anything that goes out of our way to detain certain people who may speak up against us. But just being able to show them just by the way that we behave and the way that we communicate, that the ones that are out here spreading foolishness through their speech will soon be silenced. And the ones that were chosen of the Most High to actually operate in this world will be put in our place to be able to stand up, to be able to regain our power back, to be able to be a powerful nation, to continue to build, to continue to grow, and to continue to be a light. And family, I don't want to be here too long. I know my streams be going on and on and on and on, man, but I just wanted to come through, share my piece on this topic of freedom of speech. At some point in time, they're going to have to see. And the people who are in power, you're going to have society figuring out, hopefully sooner rather than later, how come there's no solutions to the problems. But us chosen, us men of righteousness, us women of power, when we all come together and when we're able to use our vessels to be able to speak about what's going on and express ourselves and have that moment where we can silence the ignorant, all I can do is say all praises to the Most High. Let's continue to keep on striving. Let's continue to just exemplify what it means to walk this path. And let's continue to just keep growing. You know? Exactly. Talking about what happened to sticks and stones. You feel me? Hey, Jamonte, appreciate you tuning in, man. Shalom, shalom. Dion Grace. What it do? What it do? See you in the building. See you in the building. Shalom family. Shalom. Hey man, she doing great. She growing, man. She blossoming. She blossoming. Amen. Amen. You know what? For anybody that is tuned in, I'm sending the link out. You know, anybody who want to pop on in the back scene, spread their idea about what's going on, or just want to communicate right quick. Yeah, I got you. Link in the chat. Come through. I got a couple more minutes before I got to get back to some duties, man. So if y'all want to come through, spread some of your ideas, spread, you know, have a healthy have a healthy conversation on what you think about this topic. Hey, you're welcome to come through. You know, while I wait for that, for a person to come through, if they do or not, let me go ahead and vibe with y'all right swift. Got to be out here claiming victory. Y'all know how I go.
What? Yeah. Okay. Sending forth my praises to the Lord. Here I am on one accord. Yeshua bringing the soul. We claiming the victory. Mercy, me, and God's glory. The chosen win is history. Wisdom and knowledge and prophecy. Opposition shall fall in defeat. This history always repeat. My purpose repairing the breach. Just like a priest preaching, I teach. Yeah. I'm just manifesting my prayer. Taking advantage of any opportunities that's in front of me. Moving forward efficiently, increasing abundantly, effortlessly, creating divinely artistry. Capitalizing on collaborations, all praises Eli, seeking supportive, succeeding simple strategies. Putting forth the energy, the growth of developing. That is real G-O-D. I'm taking back my true identity. Waking up my nation, goals and aspirations, will and declaration, prayers penetrating, marching forward patient. Yeah, winning wars like the Haitians, triumphing over Satan. My spirit is not latent, peace and blessing salutation, pouring out from the heavenly, increasing me, extremely astute and worshiping, acknowledging the entity. Innovative production, someone's solution, seed and synergy, sending forth my praises. I'm sending forth my praises. I'm sending forth my praises. I'm sending forth my praises. Sending forth my praises to the Lord. Here I am on one accord. Yeshua bringing us, so we claiming the victory.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey. And in all honesty, man, that's what I feel like they be trying to do, where real music has been pretty much detained. There's no freedom of speech when it comes to us communicating about our praises. How many of us are going to speak up for what is right, what is righteous? Okay, I see. I got a brother in the background, man. Famous warrior. What it do? What it do?
What it do, Devon Lee, man?
And you know, just growing, shining, same as always, fam. Glad to finally get back in tune with you, man.
All praises, brother. No, I just wanted to come in real quick, man. Just on the topic, man, it's like freedom of speech ain't free, right? But if you ask me, we paid for it already. So why we still got to pay for it? Why they still want to, you know, drag Kanye through the mud, drag Kyrie through the mud? You see Shaq being persecuted for it now. You know, I was just thinking about that just the other day, man, and it's like, so we know, right? Like, it started off with the Jews, right? You know, they stole our identity and whatnot, what have you. So It's like I'm looking at it more of like who really don't want the Jewish and the Israelites to sit down and actually have a conversation, actually put things in perspective. You know what I'm saying? It seems like they're just trying to cause a divide. They don't want them to sit down with us to sit down with them, get to some real answers, some real questions, things that really that need to be answered, need to be said.
No, that's real right there.
Is that Divine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's my wife in the
Shalom, man. Oh, that's
Shalom, brother.
How's it going? How's it going?
Not too bad, man. All praises.
You know, appreciate y'all, fam.
I wanted to go to the strip.
But no, that was real what brother was speaking about, though. Just being able to say that we already paid the price to speak our minds, to express ourselves. We came from a situation where people looked at us as animals. So how can we go about and actually come to this table where we can express ourselves and say, there's a problem here and we need to come up with a solution, because you guys say that you are us and we're trying to gain our substance back as people to be able to have our nation and build, something where we can have some pride in. Where's all this confusion coming from? Us not being able to speak, us not being able to come to that table and talk. So for brothers to see what's going on and not having the spirit to actually speak up on it, just know that that's stripping of us of our power, of our soul, of our essence, to be able to make sure that the next generation doesn't have to go through these certain dilemmas.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself, man. And because I was watching a couple videos, right, and it's like, if you look down in the community, they're younger, they're youth. They have no, what's up, Shalom, brother Jamonte? But I was watching a few videos, and their youth, their youth have no problem with it. I'm looking at some of the younger rabbis. They're speaking to it. You know what I'm saying? It's a video I watched the other night. A young brother, the younger rabbi took him into the synagogue, giving him the history, like the whole 9 yards. And it's like, who really don't want us to sit down? See, we know that it started off right as the people, the higher ups, if you will. They may have started off as Jewish, right? And obviously, clearly, if you look at the things that they're manipulating, the things that they're doing, they don't follow by the guidelines of the Jewish community. So can we still call them Jewish? Can we still say this is what the Jewish people are doing to us? Mm-hmm. They're not following the guidelines of their community. So therefore, I'm looking at it like, man, so who really don't want us to sit down, have a conversation, get an understanding of who we are? Because we already know, right? We already know the Bible say that they're going to come to us, and surely we our fathers inherited lies. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but I know it's somewhere close.
No, you're on point.
So just in that aspect, it's like, when would we take the initiative? And when I say we, I mean the youth, their youth and us being the youth. When will we take the initiative to say, F everything, let's go have a conversation with each other. Let's go see what's going on. Let's go see what they don't want us to know. Let's tell them the things that they may not know about what's been going on through our community. The same way like how you try to bring it out, you try to talk about the abortion rate and everything in our community. Well, this is something that they may not have knowledge of, like full knowledge of. Yeah, they heard about it here and there, little passing, and like how you brought it out, and first thing, bam, anti-Semitic. You know what I'm saying? So let's actually sit down and have a conversation, not sit down and have a conversation to where you're gonna tell me, well, I gotta say what you want me to say, otherwise you're gonna counsel me. Nah, we're not going that way. We've done that. We seen Malcolm X went down and had a conversation with him They called him anti-Semitic. You seen Muhammad Ali talk to him. They called him anti-Semitic. We got him doing it again. If we look at the Kyrie and Ye, you're so mad at Kyrie for bringing this out, but you're not mad at Amazon. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Amazon is owned by a Jewish person, right?
Jeff Bezos. I don't know too much about his
believe,
background, but
I
wouldn't
believe
doubt
he
it.
is. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put it out there if he's not, but I do believe he is. And so therefore, it's like, it's fine for him to go ahead and put it up there to sell it on his site, to show the movie off his site. But then for somebody to say, hey, check this out. Just go watch this movie. Oh, that mean he's anti-Semitic? Brother Jamonte, man, I'm kind of rambling. You got something you want to come in and add in on?
Shalom, how y'all doing?
Shalom, Ak.
Yeah, listen to what you're saying and everything. I agree with you. I see where you're coming from. And I suppose as of late, I've been coming to this mentality, this perspective of who cares? Why should I care if they call me anti-Semitic? They've called me nigga, boy, African American. I mean, they've called me everything, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, we have all these talks going on about anti-Semitic, and it's like, okay, yeah, they're gonna call me anti-Semitic. Well, who cares? And so that's kind of where I've been getting to with this whole thing. And because we know who we are, and honestly, they do too. Yeah, there's probably, the guy that works at the Dollar General probably doesn't know. There's situations like that, but we're at this point now where pretty much everyone knows whether they want to admit it or not. For whatever reason they may have, a lot of people are just low key a little bit racist. Not saying they're bad people, but it's like we've all been brought up in these different environments. Me being brought up in Southwest Georgia, I remember sitting back and talking to some of my white friends and laughing about some of the stuff our parents taught us about the different races. And the thing is, it was mutual. It's like, yeah, they've received conversation and stuff like that about our people. But at the same time, I can't just disregard the fact that I've also been taught things about their people. And I mean, the reality is, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, yeah, the dynamic has been different to a degree. The people who've held power, it's been a little different. But nonetheless, on an individual basis in our day-to-day interactions, we all have similar backgrounds in that manner. And so taking that into consideration, I think it's profitable for me in my daily interactions to, when those situations come up, those microaggressions where people would say things like, oh, you're very articulate. I didn't expect that from you. Oh, it surprised me how smart you are. That caught me off guard. Like, of course, it's almost comical because it's like, that's horrible. Do you think so lowly of me? Nonetheless, I choose to just let it slide because it's not like this person said, okay, let me intentionally be condescending, let me intentionally be racist. And so the bigger thing is just being able to meet them there where they're at in a sense, and then show them through my actions, not my words, that I'm not that stereotype, I'm not that label, I'm not that predefined template that they put me in when they saw my dark skin and my crazy hair. And so I think that all of us collectively on both sides of the fence should have moments where we can, one, acknowledge our own biases because we all have them. That's just the reality of the situation. And that's okay to have biases, but just acknowledge them whenever we're having the different interactions with other people, and to separate ourselves from what other people believe. Okay, you believe this, what you believe doesn't really have any bearing on me. I'm going to tell you what I believe. We're just going to share perspectives because we can learn from each other, and it makes both parties more receptive to listening to the other perspective. Because when we come at people like, yeah, when we come at people aggressively, their walls go up, right? I don't even need to give examples. They're already afraid of us. Cause just like Pharaoh said, oh, the children of Israel have multiplied. We gotta deal wisely with them. So let's when Pharaoh did his thing, that's the same thing basically that they had to do. And don't you think these people, once they said, okay, Emancipation Proclamation, all the slaves are gonna be free, these people were horrified, dude. They were horrified. And so because they know what they did, and they're like, oh snap. So they're like, we gotta get to set up this organization and that organization, put this particular person in office, whatever, to kind of keep control because they're more afraid of us than we are of them. I've had adult, like 60-year-old men who consider themselves liberal tell me explicitly that they are afraid of black men. And so there's nothing we can really do to change that. They're afraid of us, right? All we can do is show with our actions that we are not those stereotypes. We are not all those labels that they put on us. They're not going to listen to us if we talk. We tried talking. We tried talking for a very long time, and obviously that doesn't work. But you can't deny the actions when the actions are put into action. You can't deny the actions when you see it. You can, but that's just you're only fooling yourself. And so I think that's what we really need to focus on doing. We need to focus on one, loving each other, because when I walk around on a predominantly white campus, I don't really have too many issues making eye contact with other white students. It's the black students that they just don't want to make eye contact. The women don't want to interact. And I know that this stems from a lot of the psychological traumas that we've experienced as a people. I'm not faulting any individual for this. But these things right here, these are the types of things that we need to make an effort to remedy amongst ourselves before we can even think of having the other nations listen to us or help us out. And I'm going to yield back to the host.
And that's powerful where you can express your experience in that way where, let's be real, when we talk about having influence, majority of the people out here, they tend to not really think about how influential we are when we speak. And so when you say that some people are scared, I take that and I agree with that experience and not even scared about what we do, but it's like this it's like this weird feeling of, say you're you're like a child, right? And you got a sibling, and it's like they're afraid for you to go and tell your parents something. It's like that kind of fear where you're like, no, don't tell mom and dad what I did, or don't tell my friends what I did. So when we really look out at it, it's like, are they afraid of what we speak, knowing that the wisdom, our experience, how we operate in this world, it will kind of shed light on who they truly are. And as I communicate with my brothers who have some intellectual background or who has the eyes to really see what's going on, especially my brothers who are actively, engaging and have a relationship with the Most High. When we speak about certain things like this, it's so much power because we give light to the situations that's going on, and also we bring forth solutions. And when we live in a world where we can bring forth solutions, I feel as though that's the scariest thing, where you have a society that literally runs off of creating problems so that they can benefit off of and profit off of. Like, we are in a world where fear is sold, ignorance is sold, and then now you have more degradation and unrighteousness being profited off of. Of course, you don't want people speaking up about that because that's certain people's livelihoods. So of course they would be afraid of us having some type of wisdom or spiritual insight in this world, because now we're attacking their livelihood. So I definitely see what you're saying there, brother, where, let's be real, if we came to a table and talked to these people, we would see that the freedom of speech on our end is a little hindered because majority of us are looked at in the society and they fear what we say, because we will ultimately have influence over the next generation to come. But no, it's always healthy when we could get together and use our platforms to shed some light, shed our experience, and coming from your vast amount of just, how can I say, brother? You've been all over the place, man. You communicated with a lot of people. You speak a lot of languages, man. So it's like, when it comes to speech, bro, I know you're not limited. So
Appreciate
just
it.
being able to get some insight from you on that is powerful. So hey, you're doing great works out here, man, especially with having a voice of your own and being able to give them a different standpoint of how we portray ourselves. That's powerful.
Most definitely. And I appreciate, this is for sure, your platform is one necessary, very important piece in the puzzle. And, we're all trying to figure this out. But most importantly, we all just have to make sure that each of us are connected to the source as we go about in this, as we exist in this world, but we're not, becoming conformed to the same image of this world. So, but I just want to jump on, share my support. I was real happy to catch you live.
So
So
it's all love, man. It's all love.
Yeah, all love. I'll catch you later, man.
All right, now, peace, shalom,
All right,
shalom.
peace.
Hey, as y'all can hear in the background, man, my loved one definitely practicing her freedom of speech right now. So hey, it's been all love connecting with y'all. Hopefully this stream was nothing less than edifying and bringing forth some information for the next to be inspired, be encouraged, continue to be the light. But as y'all hear, man, my little one definitely expressing herself right now. So, man, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one out. Y'all already know over here. Peace and blessings, my people. Peace and blessings. Until next time, family. Peace. Yeah.
when the truth is free. Illusions creating distorted reality, manifesting heart's desires, faith that anything is possible, probable. With God, I'm unstoppable, can't deny denial. Life flowing through, living is a test of subscription, a lifetime trial. Only faith, no fanatics, pay attention to the antics. Peace over power, panic, design, planned in fashion.